Hello, a Rosie math teacher coming at you from my 7th period, grade 7 math class, reviewing the last few items from session 1 fast exam review. Number 33, everybody has already written on their paper. A school asked 80 of their students, please write 80 of their students if the new school mascot should be a squirrel. I don't know, a squirrel? What do you guys think? Wave at me if you think that's a great idea for a mascot. Wave at me if you think our mascot of tigers is an even greater idea. Yes. But anyway, in this problem, they're saying 40% say it should be a squirrel. So please write 40% of 80 students say yes to the squirrel. If 40% of 80 students say yes to the squirrel, then they are asking you, what if the school actually has 658 students? How many of them are likely to say yes to the squirrel? Now, guys, if it is 40% of 80 for the smaller population that they surveyed, then does it make sense that very likely it would also be 40% of the whole population, 658? How can you do 40% on a calculator? There's no percent key for us on our test, but can we convert it into a fraction? How will I write 40% as a fraction? Go ahead and say it. Over 100. Excellent. Now, just like if I were trying to find 40% of 80 students, I would do 40 over 100 times 80. But if I am doing 40% of 658 students, I will do 40 over 100 times 658. I will let you use your handheld calculators right now. Class, please type into your calculator 40, ABC key, 100 times 658. Raise your hand if you have an answer for me. Raise your hand if you have an answer. Yes, ma'am.
263 and
Okay, does it go 263 decimal point what? All I need is the digit after the decimal. What is just that digit? 1. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I heard 8 the first time. Okay, so 263.1. Now, guys, what do you notice it tells us? Round to the nearest whole number. Now, does it make sense? You're going to round to the nearest whole number because all students are a whole number apiece, right? There's no such thing. I'm super short. I'm like half the height of normal people. But does that mean I count as half of a human? No. I still count as a whole human. I see you nodding yes. Okay. They are making fun of me in here. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so 263.1, when I round it to the nearest whole number, what number do I get? 200 and what? 263. Everyone, write yourselves a note, because when you turn to this item online, you will already have that answer written down. All right, let's look at number 34. Let's check in this data exactly what they are showing us. The double box plot shows the number of daily customers at 2 electronic stores. What are the 2 stores? Amazing Prices and Best Deals. The numbers along the number line are the number of customers that went into their stores on particular random days. Which statements correctly compare and then make an inference about the data? Now, let me remind you, this is a box and whisker plot, yes? So the lowest number of customers on any one of the days at Amazing Prices, the lowest number of customers was what? 35. On one of the days, the highest number of customers that ever visited Amazing Prices was what? 80. Does everyone understand how to see the lowest and the highest? And tell what number it matches with? What was the lowest number of customers ever at Best Deals? And the highest? 65. Now, if I were trying to find the range of each of these stores, what would I do with the highest number and the lowest? Subtract. Excellent. If I were trying to find the IQR, the interquartile range, what numbers would I use from this box for Amazing Prices? The higher number would be 60. Subtract the lower number? 40. So what would that be for the IQR? What would it be for that range? The IQR would equal 60 minus 40 is 20. Do you understand the difference between the IQR and then the range that we talked about earlier would have been 80 take away 35, right? So when you regroup that, what would you get? 45. So the range for amazing prices would be 45, while the IQR would be 20. Do you understand the difference between the range and the IQR? Okay, you would do the same procedure with the information for best deals. Now, I also want to point something else out. If they were to say which shop is likely to have more people in it on a given day, will you pick the shop that skews to the right or the shop that skews to the left? To the right, because to the right always means what? More. So if you were to walk in on any random day, which business is likely to have more customers in there? Amazing Prices. Excellent. And where will I look to find the median? Is it the first dot, the second dot, the third, the fourth, or the fifth? On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. It is the third dot. I did have a few people remember that. So when they ask you how to compare the median of the two stores, what would you say? They're the same. So is one store a greater median than the other store? No. So keep that in mind when you look at the items on 34. You're going to pick all items that apply. I will let you figure those out on your own. On item 35, they're asking you on this item to compare theoretical probability each time to the experimental probability each time. And I want to talk to you just about item A. The experimental probability of rolling a 3. Experimental probability of rolling a 3. So we're going to look at the chart they give you. What did they say about the number of rolls that landed on a 3? 22 times they rolled it, it landed on a 3. Out of how many times did they roll that number cube? 150 times. A standard number cube is rolled 150 times. Results are in the table. So 22 out of 150. That's my experimental probability. So class, in your notes, write experimental probability. And for option A, how many times might they have rolled a 3? 22 times out of what? 150. Everyone in this room, if they have not already written this, should write it now. The experimental probability of rolling a 3 is 22 out of 150 because you go by the results in the table. Now I want you to just think about a number cube. How many faces on a number cube have 3 dots exactly? How many faces on, okay, a number cube is a piece of a dice. So when you roll the dice in a Monopoly game, imagine you pick up just one of them and you're looking at all the sides. How many of the faces or how many of the sides have exactly 3 dots? One side. So for TP, your theoretical probability, the numerator is 1. Out of how many different sides are there on a number cube? 6. So guys, using your calculator, handheld right now, type in there 1 ABC key 6 equals, and then tap the ABC key again so it gives you a decimal value. Do 1 ABC 6, tap equals, tap the ABC key one more time. Yes, ma'am, tell me what it says. Okay, 0. I don't have room to write it there. I'm going to write it out here, 0.1. And if it's 6 repeating, round that to the nearest hundredths place, same person. 0.1. Excellent. 0.17. Let's just go ahead and round that for comparing. We just want to know which one is greater. All right, now do the same procedure with 22 over 150. Use the online calculator, 22. Did you already do it? Okay, ABC key, 150 equals, and then ABC key again. Yes, ma'am, in the back. I know it's not going to begin with a 1, so I will tell you it does begin with 0.146. Round it to the nearest hundredths. Round this to the nearest hundredths. Does yours say 0.14666? Okay. Can you do you know how to round it to the nearest hundredths? Okay. Can you tell me what it will be? Good. Okay, so 0.1. You got it. Excellent. Now I want you both looking at them. Which is greater? Don't read the decimal because I know you know that, right? Is it the theoretical probability or the experimental probability? The theoretical probability is greater than the experimental probability. So when A says the experimental probability of rolling a 3 is greater than the theoretical probability of rolling a 3, will you pick it or will you not pick it? You will not pick it because the experimental was not greater, was it? Do you follow how to do the other items on this same one? Okay, look at each letter to see which one is true. Once you find the one that is true, you're all set and you can move on. All right, next page, number 36. Everybody write, please, number 36. And please copy surface area formula equals 2 pi r squared plus, now in this case, I wrote BH. Why? Because on the rectangle, they gave us the base of 18.8 and they gave us the height of 8.5. So when you solve this in a moment, you're going to put 2 under the 2. In place of the 3 of the pi, what are you going to use? They told you to use I'm going to use parentheses here so that doesn't look like a decimal. 3.14 and then times radius squared. Do you see the radius? 3. So then times radius squared. So 3 squared. And then plus, and then your base times height. What is your base? 18.8. And times your height. What is your height? 8.5. If you put all of that in your calculator, it will give you the final amount, but don't forget, you need to round to the nearest what? So write yourself a little note at the beginning of the problem that says round. If you don't write yourself a note, you will probably forget to round. So make sure you remember to round it. Everybody write notes, please, now for item number 37. I see that. Just ignore him, please. Number 37. A cook has 12 cups of blueberries. How many cups of blueberries does the cook have to use for the day? 12 cups. Write yourself a note. 12 cups blueberries. All right, now let's see what else they have for us. The cook makes 2 batches of oatmeal, and in that oatmeal, their recipe, the recipe for this oatmeal, obviously blueberry oatmeal, each batch they make uses how many cups of blueberries? 3/4 of a cup of blueberries. But wait, how many batches were they making? 2 batches of the oatmeal, yes? Okay, so what will I do with 3/4? Multiply it. So guys, go ahead and set yourself up for success by writing down 3/4 times 2 in parentheses. This will help you greatly to understand how you can add up all these items. Your online calculator is like a second brain for you during your FAST exam. You can literally type everything into the screen at one time that will give you, as your final answer, the answer to the item. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes. But you need to first use it to add up or represent what you're adding up. So oatmeal 3/4 times 2. And then how many batches of muffins? 1 batch of muffins. Okay, so how many cups of blueberries for the muffins? 2 1/2. Now, if we want to add up to find out all the blueberries that get used, what sign should I put between these? A plus sign. Excellent. You do that as well. Plus, and then for the pie, it says how many pies? 2 pies. So if the pies require 3 3/4 cups of blueberries, what will I multiply that by for 2 pies? Times 2. You got it. And then what will I get when I put all of that in my calculator? I will get the total amount of what? Blueberries that I would need to do how many recipes? All of these recipes. 2 of the oatmeal, 1 of the muffins, 2 of the pie. But wait, that's not quite the question they're asking, although you need that. They want you to know, they want you to answer how many cups of blueberries are remaining. So what operation needs to happen? Subtraction. What number would you start with? 12, because remember at the very beginning we wrote down they have 12 cups of blueberries? So here's what I want you to write yourself a note you're going to do on your online calculator. You're going to make your little cursor, that's the thing that blinks when you're about to type something in the calculator screen. You want to tap in front of the whole set of numbers you just typed. You want to tap in front of it so it's blinking right there. And then what number do you want to write there? You want to write 12 and write what sign? Excellent. So when you have put in your calculator 12 take away 3/4 times 2 plus 2 1/2 plus 3 3/4 times 2, when you tell it to take away all of this, it will have your final answer, which you will, let's see, I don't believe they say to round. I don't see anywhere where they say to round. In fact, they have fractional and mixed number answers. So you will use your calculator. Now, guys, will it give you a decimal? Yes. And if you're not sure if it's a matching decimal, can you put this in your handheld calculator and get a decimal to see if it matches your other decimal? Yes, you can. All right, let's look at item 38. A school group of 46 students is on a farm tour. Each cart for the riding tour holds 8 people. Which inequality represents the number of carts needed for the students? All right, guys, if they have 46 students that need to go on a farm tour, is it okay if their farm tour can carry 8 students? Well, this would be greater than or equal to 8. Would it be okay if they used enough carts that carry exactly 8 students? No, because they need enough to carry how many? 46 students. So I really believe when you look down here, you will see it is only one of these 2 options, yes? Take the number that they said per cart and check to see which inequality features that number per cart. And then has to be greater than or equal to 46, because all 46 kids want to go. Nobody wants to get left behind. All right, for number 39, please write 39 and write this formula for volume of a cylinder. Volume equals pi times r squared times h. Please write this down so you will not forget. On this item, they do say use 3.14 for pi. So later you'll put 3.14 in place of pi. Do they give you a value for radius? No, they give you a value for what? Oh, great job remembering that. So I'm going to let you figure out if the diameter is 16, I think you can figure out what number the radius is, and make sure you remember later to square it and then multiply by the height. What is the height? It is 6. Excellent. So you would multiply that by 6 and you will find your answer in meters cubed. All right, last item we need to take notes on also needs you to write down surface area. This time for surface area, you need to use 2 pi r squared plus pi dh. When you plug in the numbers that they give you on number 40 to this formula, you will get it correct. And then they remind you, so write yourself a note, round. They remind you round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. So once you plug in all of your appropriate numbers, round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. I hope this helps you guys. Everybody get busy online.